I was telling Tina, I guess.
Everybody's busy. Everybody is busy. That's what I like to hear. Busy, 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 busy. Except for us chickens.
Yeah.
That's it. The only people that are not busy are us chickens. But that's
Yeah.
okay. I mean, not everybody is busy. Some people are just, they just don't want to give their opinion. And of course, this is an opinion show, and this is our 151st episode of, our current event show. Well, actually, that's a misnomer because we started it out as the round where during the pandemic or the COVID pandemic, we came here to discuss our feelings and our views on current events and how to stay alive during the tough time. Well, the tough times are still here. COVID is a thing of the past for most people, although I hear something like 30,000 people a day die all over the world from COVID. I don't know where that is, but that's the story, and at least that's what they're reporting. So anyway, this is an opinion show, so just remember everything you hear is an opinion. A lot of our regulars are out working or on vacation. One of our regulars is on his way to Tahiti, and I heard through the grapevine, or actually through the Gregvine, that in flight, the guy next to him on an 8-hour flight, what happened?
Spilled a drink in his lap.
And it wasn't intentional. It was just that the guy was drinking so much. I guess he just spilled the drink in his lap, which is really hard to do, when you think about it, because the drink tables are in front of you. So he must
So
have
especially if you're in business class too.
Yeah, and I guess I don't want to give away too much information, but 4C,
Hmm.
you know,
Yep.
yeah, 4C. Well, that reminds me of a trick question. Do you know a sign? Do you know a song that starts with four E's? Can you think of a song that would start with four E's? All right, for E's a jolly good fellow. For
Oh,
E's, okay, there you
bad.
go. I thought I would throw that in.
Oh,
You can tell your kids, and while we're at bad jokes, you know,
somebody should
what did
come
the
in and
snail
tell me
say?
the song
What
right
did
part.
this what did the snail say that hitched a ride on the turtle's back? Whee! Okay. The Disneyland ride of turtles. There you go. So that's it.
So good.
Okay,
Listen,
thanks
today
very
we're
much,
going to talk about
folks.
something really cool. Today we're going to talk about how money is made, how to make some money. So stick around and you'll hear the secret of how to make money. I think you're going to be a little bit depressed and a little bit, well, depressed might be a little far, but you will definitely wish that you can do, you wish you can make the money. That's it. That's it. So you wish you could make the money. Anyway, I want to start off the show by saying, let's see, what do I want to say? Hi, everybody. So who's
Hey,
got
Bruce.
something they want to say?
Hey, how are you?
Hey,
Good.
Bruce.
I was a
Yeah.
little late because I got a new Mac computer. It's the new Mac has it's not a 32 bit, it's a 64 bit. So I've been in the process all week of updating my programs, and I hadn't even thought about Zoom. So it got to be 5 o'clock, and I said, "Oh right, I got to go meet the boys." And I clicked on Zoom, and it said, "Hey, sorry, you need to update all this stuff to get this to work." So that's what I was doing.
Well, it's a good thing that you did it because now you've got it out of the way. So
Now
you
I
got
can
the-
honestly say that everything on my laptop works now. So that Smart was a little bit of a pain, but once I got them on the phone, it took a couple minutes. But they send you a 3-page thing on how to disengage Smart on your old laptop and then do the migration from one Mac to the other, and then
Right.
and it just wasn't working. So I had to wait till Monday morning and call them on the phone and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And they walked me through it, and it went fine. So
Well, very good. Now you
Yeah.
have a smarter computer. I like that.
this one's so fast, it's unbelievable.
Now, is this the M1 chip with the M2 chip?
This is a M2. I got it at B&H. B&H had a really great sale on them. Well, really great for a Mac. It's like 400 off. But if you apply for their B&H credit card, they waive the tax. So it ended up being, $400 off the retail plus another, we're in California, it's 10% tax. So at $3,000, that's another $300 off on top of that. So ended up being pretty worthy.
Well,
Yeah, it
yeah,
sounds
I
like
mean,
it.
and you know what? I just read that Mac computer sales are down something like 39%. They're
Really?
actual, yeah, they're down 39%. But, you got to think about it from the standpoint of view is that although the Mac computers, in my opinion, are so far superior to anything made by Windows or Window-based machines, whereas the Mac will last for years and years and years. I still have a 2014 Mac that's still usable.
My 2015 was running just fine. The problem was with everything going to 64-bit, I would log into a website and it would say your Safari browser is outdated and doesn't work. Update your browser. And I started getting a ton of that stuff. And, my 2015 wouldn't run 64-bit. So I couldn't update just the browser. I have to update everything, which it wouldn't do. So, I mean, now I have another Mac, a 15-inch Mac that's just sitting here doing nothing. So, I don't know.
Well, you could use that for social media and an air gap computer. If you
An
have
air
anything you want to air gap, just shut it off from the internet and air gap it, baby. Air
Yeah.
gap.
Can't
Yeah,
can't you use it to do show files on, Bruce?
Well, the problem is all the new you mean like just budgets and stuff like that? Or
No,
do you
no,
mean-
I'm talking about export from from a Midas or an Avid or whatever desk or Yamaha or whatever.
I'm a Yamaha guy, and all the Yamaha console files are now 64-bit.
Oh,
So, yeah,
Oh,
there
well.
you go. There you go. So I started to run into that, which is the reason why I had to update it. But and this one, I have two Dells and two Macs, two PCs and two Macs, and my two PCs do all the audio stuff on a show, and then this Mac runs my console files in Smart and wireless workbench and all my personal stuff, and then I have a 13-inch Mac that runs Waves because Yamaha stuff is outboard Waves. So so I a lot of times I travel with four laptops, two Dells, one backs the other up, and then two Macs, because I'm a firm believer in don't put all your faith in one computer, because when it takes a dump, everything goes with it,
well, I don't want to be the person behind you at TSA. That's for sure. Pull out four laptops.
No, with TSA pre-check and the eyesight thing, clear, I just go right through. It takes me 2 seconds. They don't have me unload anything anymore, which is great. I don't have to take my jacket off or my shoes off or anything. But
those are certain airports. Most airports still haven't implemented that kind of technology, and especially here on this side of the world, they don't have that.
Where it is sometimes a hassle is if I'm taking a puddle jumper and the overheads are so small, because I have a carry-on suitcase that actually carries all my laptops and the sound card when I'm not running Yamaha, because I run my laptops with Dante in them, and if I'm not running a Yamaha, then I have to have my Motu sound card out, and that I hand carry, so it doesn't fit in the overhead of like the RJs, the RJ
Embarcadores,
all those little planes. So they want me to take all the batteries out, and you know what, the hell with that. I'm not screwing around with that. I just don't even tell them.
But you know what? I'll tell you what. I just curious little poll here. When you travel on a plane, what do you carry with you? Not so much as what's inside the bag.
Sure.
But
Okay.
how many bags do you travel with to carry on?
Right. I've managed to get myself so that I'm a platinum flyer on American, and I exclusively fly American. So I have two carry-ons and I have two checked. I have one big suitcase that checks, which is all my clothes and junk, right? Then I have a Pelican Air. It's a fairly big one. I can't remember the model number of it, but that has a bunch of junk in it that I use all the time. Not really any electronics, but cables, and it carries my Yamaha switch and in my headphones. Just a whole bunch of cable checkers and just a bunch of crap. And then
Do you
I have
carry that with you, or do you put
that checks, and both my luggage bag and my Pelican come in at right about 49 pounds. I check them before I go out on each plane. Then I have a backpack that carries my Mac and my iPad and my personal stuff and show files and thumb drives and, all my personal crap. And I stick my sweatshirt in there. And then I have my carry-on bag, which technically is all my computers. So it's 4 bags. It's 2 carry-ons and 2 checks.
When you get on a plane, you got 2 bags, right? Okay, Greg, what about you?
I travel with 2 check bags, and sometimes.
What do you carry on the plane? That's what I want to know. What do you carry on the plane?
Well,
do you have a backpack?
No. They're small carry-ons. I have a shoulder bag that you would be surprised how many devices I could stick in that shoulder bag. It'd be a notebook and iPad and chargers and all the cables and all the power adapters I'm going to need from where I go. And then the other bag has it's a huge notebook bag, so I carry that. Plus I only travel with 2 notebooks, but and then an iPad, and then the phone.
So basically you have 2 bags that you carry with you.
I carry
a backpack. Wherever I travel, I carry my backpack, which of course has my computer in it, my iPad, and I have what they call a porter case, which fits in the overhead perfectly, and that's usually packed with all of this stuff. So when I travel on a plane, wherever I go, I always take with me personally everything that I absolutely positively need, so that if it gets, anything that might get lost that I absolutely need, I carry with me. That's what I carry with me. You know what pisses me off? When I'm standing there waiting to get on a plane, or I see somebody and all they've got is a paperback book.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate those people. I want to know. I think they should be, there should be more of them, but I don't know why I despise them so much that they could travel with just a paperback. And some people I've seen get on a plane with nothing. Nothing. I don't know how they do it. It's beyond my scope of imagination.
So what's really funny? I originally had Earthworks smart microphones, for analyzation, and I carried 2 of them, and they were in those little plastic cases, and they look like missiles in a protective case. They're the funniest looking things. And for years and years, that was the problem getting through TSA, was those 2 stupid little microphones. And one day I was at Salt Lake Airport, and I was getting on the plane, and I went through TSA, and the guy pulls out pulls it out, and he holds it up in the air, and he looks at me, and he looks at the thing, and he goes, "Is this a reference mic?" And I damn near fell over. I couldn't believe it. I said, "Yes, it is." And there's a second one in there too. And he goes, "I take it these are really nice mics because these are really cool plastic containers you got them suspended in." And I said, "Yeah, for the most part, they're pretty expensive, and I don't want anything to happen to them." And he says, "You were the first person that ever knew what the hell it was." And he's like, "No, I'm familiar." And I says, "Cool." And then of course people were like looking at us bad. So we packed everything back in the bag and off I went. But that was a really funny moment because I had never seen anybody know what those were,
They always, I carry a mic too as well. I just realized that speaking of carrying a mic, I just realized my mic was to the side. But basically, I carry a mic too, and they always open it. If I had extra space, I would like to carry sex toys so they could just open them up and say, "What the hell?" And so, but I never have any extra space to do that.
Well, that's the whole road crew trick is, I always used to do that. I would come back from Europe, and I put all my dirty socks that I never washed after a 6-week
I thought he was going to say dirty sex toys.
Yeah, the dirty sex toys. I put my dirty sex toys in, which I never wash, and that's the show title, "My Dirty Sex Toys That I Never Wash."
I would have expected that out of Jan, Tina, but oh my goodness.
Hey, Tina's been with me a long time. She can get away with this kind of stuff,
No, I would always just pack all the dirty stuff right at the top of the suitcase, and they'd open it up, and customs go, "Okay, you're good." But I never smuggled anything except Bhutanese rugs.
You know what I did once that was so funny? I had a friend who was a cigar smoker, right? So I did a Microsoft show at the Toronto Arena, the ice rink up there. And of course there was no ice, but so we were up there like 2 weeks, And right down the street from the Toronto Arena, there was a cigar shop, and they had Cuban cigars.
Oh,
Now, you know what? I never smoked a Cuban cigar, but I've heard they're really, really good. So I went into this cigar shop and I bought two pretty good, probably 20, 25 bucks a piece cigars for my friend Mike. And I got a packet with the the name of the cigar shop, a book of matches with all that stuff on it. But I had never, I'd never stolen anything. I'd never done anything in my life. And here I am 30 years old at the time, or 35, having a heart attack over, what if I go through customs and they pull out these Cuban cigars? I'm going to get thrown in jail for the rest of my life for trying to hijack two Cuban cigars, right? So I took the wrappers off them that said Cuban and everything, and I put them in my wallet and buried them back in my wallet. And I put the cigars in one of my plastic containers that carries some intercom stuff that I don't want to get broken,
Right.
And you know what? I breezed through customs and it wasn't an issue. But I'll tell you, the 2 days before I came home, I was like having a nervous breakdown over this.
And I got to ask you a question.
It was the funniest thing.
I got to ask you a question regarding that. Okay, so now you got through immigration and customs, right? Scot free. Did in your mind say, I could have brought back a whole case of that stuff?
Yes. I thought to myself, shit, I could have bought a box, Wow, it was that damn easy. I couldn't believe it.
That's how I used to feel every time in the old days when I was into drugs. Oh man, I could have brought all of my drugs with me.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's what the back in the day, the lowest guy on the crew always had to carry everybody's drugs through customs.
Well, that's a scary thing.
Yeah. Well, it's a rite of passage. It was, back in the day.
Well, actually, I guess Paul McCartney should have listened to that advice, because in those days, they brought their own stuff. But it's interesting thing. There's now this whole thing about traveling, and should you or not you should use your 5G, and why they want you to go into airplane mode when you're traveling using 5G. Have you guys have any opinion on that whatsoever?
I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah, basically, technology, they're saying that it's really close to the, when you take off and land, the technology that they're using in the airplanes, that is very, very close. And there's 2.2 billion passengers that are flying, basically. And so they're saying that the radio frequency bandwidth is limited on what they're using to communicate with the towers. And so the 5G network band spectrum is remarkably close to the reserved aviation bandwidth spectrum that may cause interference with the navigation systems near airports.
So,
Yeah,
are they saying go into airplane mode before you take off?
Oh, absolutely. They're saying, yeah, and that's why they make such a big deal of making an announcement that all your devices should be put in, either shut off or put into airplane mode.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it's called, I believe it's called ETAS system. It runs on the frequencies very close to the frequencies that 5G took over, which are the UHF channels. Okay, the old analog UHF channels. And there was a huge thing. I think it was last year or year before. The major carriers were trying to ban 5G, near airports.
Yeah, it was a big thing, and they still feel it's too close to the avionics. But and today, right now, they're also saying about whether they're debating whether or not you can make phone calls on a plane. That would be, to me, a horrendous thing.
You don't want people talking on the phone on a plane, man. That would be a nightmare.
One of the things that the flight attendants are saying is, it says they wouldn't be able to finish their in-flight services if people are on the phone, because they would come up to you and say coffee, tea, or whatever you get, or these days they probably don't even offer coffee or tea. You want some water, but the reality is that if they had to wait for you to get off your phone call, they wouldn't be able to finish their services of giving you, whatever it is they're servicing you with.
Well, phones have been really expensive, but they've been on planes since the early 70s, where you'd have to take it off and swipe your credit card, and it was something like, back then, $5 a minute.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know where you
I-
flew, but it was mine. Where I was flying was $8 to $10 a minute, and I couldn't justify it. No matter how much, I just couldn't justify spending that kind of money on a phone call.
You know what? They had planes clipped, or they had phones clipped in the back of those seats for so long. And I can't say, I started flying in '77, and I don't ever remember anybody ever talking on the phone on a plane, which is really weird because they had 100 phones on the plane clipped in the back of those seats. But you're right, they're really expensive, and I don't I don't
And
remember
today,
anybody
I
ever.
can't imagine what it would be like today with all the rage that's going on in there. Did you see that? It really stood out in my head. This guy is sitting in first class and he orders a gin and tonic. He said, "Can I get a gin and tonic?" And the flight attendant tells him, "Look, we're really busy right now loading the plane. I'll get to it as soon as I can." And the guy became belligerent over this. He just became belligerent. And eventually the pilot overheard this and he said, "Hey, stop it." And the guy says, "No, I'm flying first class." And so they had him evicted from the plane. And here's this guy who is, sitting in first class. He was a pretty big guy. And next thing you know, they got him chained to the wall. He's on the floor. He's lost a shoe and he's crying. And now the poor sucker is probably going to be on the blacklist and will never be able to fly anywhere, which is to me, of course, when I'm flying and I say, "Could I get some water?" Or because I don't like to drink on a plane. I've read an article once before that you shouldn't get dehydrated, and alcohol drinking dehydrates you.
Also, the alcohol affects you differently at the height, at that elevation too. A little bit.
Well, the whole thing is that there's just an attitude now that flying is a right, and I'm old enough to say flying is a privilege for me. I've been flying since I've been 8 years old.
Everybody thinks everything is a right now. It's really sad.
Yeah, I remember. I think it's the 29th Amendment to the Constitution about flying as a right. I think they put that into the Constitution right now. I mean, but it's pretty amazing.
Be a Karen.
It's pretty amazing. I really do want to talk about what's going on in Tennessee. I'm hoping Ken Porter jumps in and then we'll bring it up because everybody's talking about what's happening in Tennessee and right now what happened in Kentucky and all of that. And you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, I'll tell you in a little while. But right now I want to say this. Even Michael Jordan in those days, I wonder if he would use that phone system of $10 a minute because basically, check this out. Michael Jordan's 1998 NBA final sneakers just sold an auction for $2.2 million. $2.2 million.
Did you see the movie recently?
No, what movie? There's a movie about his sneakers selling on
Air.
auction.
It's called Air. It's the history of Nike and how Michael Jordan got involved and his sneakers and the whole story. It is a great story and there's a bunch of good people in it and it's just a wonderful story and you'll enjoy it. It's a good story.
I mean, I wish I had that kind of money that I could spend $2.2 million on a pair of used sneakers. I mean,
and what would you do? You probably wear them out to Sun Crown.
I would wear them to Sun Crown. Yeah, that's right. Get them wet. That's what I would do. So, I mean, things have changed a lot, I mean, like right now, when I was growing up, Tupperware was the thing, you would burp the Tupperware, it was saver. And now Tupperware is on the verge of going bankrupt. Isn't that sad?
Actually, a funny story on that.
No,
I was working with a small band called Rosie at the Tupperware headquarters in Orlando. They have a 3,000 square foot, 3,000 seat arena at the Tupperware headquarters. So we played there. We played a show at the Tupperware headquarters, and it was.
Now, does everybody? Are all the seats made out of Tupperware? Do you sit in a Tupperware container? How does that work?
Do
you get a lid
for their national meeting of all their salespeople, and at the end of the show, they gave us all cases of Tupperware. You know, this is
So
a
they
rock
gave
and roll
you. So
band.
Tina asked you if they gave you a lid, and I didn't even know she realized that you smoked marijuana in those days.
No.
I mean, really,
No, I don't smoke marijuana. Never have.
Never have, never will.
Other
Now it's
things.
legal. Here in Thailand, it used to be like every corner had a drugstore. I mean, maybe 2 or 3 on a block. And now all those drugstores are being replaced by marijuana shops, I don't know who's smoking all this marijuana,
Yeah, especially
any-
because you're not allowed to smoke it on the streets, right?
No, you can smoke it anywhere now these days. Look, I don't know how they do anything here. I really don't understand how it blows my mind because you never see, you never see a policeman anywhere, and if you do see him, the accident or whatever the action is already occurred, and then they show up somehow. I don't know how they capture criminals here, but they seem to do it. So
almost like the
I
Karate
don't want to
movie,
become a criminal to find out.
He'll show up when all the bad guys are around
No, not now.
after the attack.
Yeah. Another company that's going bankrupt, Richard Branson, that the Virgin rocket ship company.
Virgin Orbit. Yeah.
Virgin Orbit, that's right. They're going, he can't make it work. I guess the SpaceX is, ate his lunch.
Well, it was a different type of company. And then they also went to a lower cost launch facility in Southern England. And then, and they were going to do this big launch. And the second stage, something went wrong. And then that was it. That was
they should have went right to the third stage. It was a lot easier, but they didn't. That was their big problem, So anyway, I know you guys in the room, and everybody knows that Playboy. You know what I didn't know is that Playboy stopped publishing. I did not know that. Playboy. So Hugh Hefner started the magazine 70 years ago. 70 years ago. This would be Playboy's 70th anniversary. And now Playboy is cutting all ties. The Playboy organization is cutting all ties to Hugh Hefner and any reference to Hugh Hefner because of this Me Too movement. And today, roughly 80% of the Playboy staff identify as women. Now, I don't know exactly what that means. That means it could be some transgender people there, but it doesn't say there are women. They say identify as women. And I don't quite understand that, but whatever it is, it's just, I'm thinking about it, and they are liking Hugh Hefner now to this guy, Harvey Weinstein. And it's crazy to me that if Hugh Hefner was alive today, he would probably be sharing a jail cell next to Harvey Weinstein, Yeah. And so it seems that Playboy Centerfold is now the new company, what they call it, and they're doing it on OnlyFans. That's how if you want to see Playboy Centerfold, you got to go to OnlyFans, and they're still calling it the Bunnies. So there's an article. We'll throw that into the chat. Wow, I just said the word articles, and it sounded like I was from New York in my own mind. Maybe that's because I'm originally from New York. But yes, have you noticed that if you have any kind of accent at all, when you go back to where you come from, wherever it is, if you visit that city when I would go back to New York, I would, no matter, even though I was gone 50 years, the second I went back and started talking to my friends, my New York accent came back really strong. Well, yesterday I was playing pickleball and this girl from New York was there and we started talking. And next thing I know, I felt like I had my New York accent back. I was like crazy. It was like nuts. Oh well.
Speaking of pickleball, did you see that Ron Gronkowski is now playing pro pickleball here in the U.S.?
Who's Ron Gronkowski?
Yeah, well, he used to be
the football player, the tight end.
Oh, the football player.
Yeah.
He's play alongside Tom Brady.
Well, now isn't he a big guy?
Yes,
yeah,
that's why he was a tight end. Duh.
Yeah, how it was like 285?
I don't know. He's huge.
Well, anyway, I mean, he's got to be strong as an ox.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't imagine, I mean, it's interesting. We play with some really big guys. I mean, I play with some really, really big guys. And it doesn't matter. I mean, the ball is really light. And unless it hits you right in the eye, which is very rare that happens, you very rarely see people get hit with the ball. And even if it is, it's just a little stinging, because the ball is a wiffle ball. But still, it's intimidating to see a big guy on the other side of that net rearing back with that paddle to whack that ball as hard as he can, And so even though I know that it's not going to hurt me, I still go, whoa, turn to the side to try to avoid being hit with that ball.
Well, do you remember at the U.S. Open? I think it was 2 years ago. Djokovic got ejected because he was mad and he whacked the ball back and hit somebody in one of the ball people in the larynx.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I think basically he just hit the ball. Yeah, he hit the ball out of his way and it hit the ball. It hit the ball boy in the neck.
Yeah. And they said,
that was unsportsmanlike conduct. And he got thrown out. That was at Forest Hills in New York, I believe.
Yeah.
But that it's a little bit different than playing tennis. I mean, you're going to see more and more tennis players get involved in pickleball, but there'll never be the kind of money that's in tennis in pickleball. Never. No. There will never be that kind of money. And the reason being is because even if I would play, if I would play Djokovic today, and I'm 70 and change, and Djokovic's in his prime, I would still be able to get a point off the guy in pickleball. I would still be able to do it. I might not win the game, but I definitely would give him. I mean, I'm playing with guys that are 16, 17 years old that are really good, that have won tournaments, and I still can get points off of them. And if I have a really good partner in doubles, I can win, because it's basically the game is all played in the kitchen. If you do the kitchen game, that means if you've never played pickleball, it's a fun game. It really is fun. It's the most social game there is. It's like tennis and ping pong combined on a court. It's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. But the problem with the game is that anyone can play it and anyone can get lucky and get a point. And because of that, there's the skill set level that you would need to be able to, in other words, when I play tennis, for example, if I would play any even a college level player, I wouldn't be able to even return a serve that he would serve. And if I did return a serve, he would be able to put it away and it would be 1, 2, 3, boom, gone. With pickleball, no matter how good you are, if you have some sort of decent level of play, you could play the best players in the game and still have a game. And because of that, there's no reason why you really want to go watch the really, really, really good players and pay big money to play them when you can get the same shots that they're getting. And that's my
that's
opinion.
what makes it exciting, because everybody can play on the same level. Nobody has to be better than the other. I mean, it's
exactly, and that's why the game is growing so. And plus,
you have people like Kevin Durant, Heidi Klum, Eva Longoria, Michael Phelps, and even Tom Brady. They have their own leagues. They have invested in a professional league.
Yeah, but nobody's going, in my opinion, I don't see anybody paying big money to play in a tournament unless there was a big money return. And then even then,
I mean, that's not what it's about. It's about everybody just being on the same level and enjoying it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. It's exactly correct. It's exactly anybody can play the game.
The courts out here, they're building brand new pickleball courts in Vegas on the west side and the east side.
Well, they know, because the 28 courts that they built in Henderson are busy all the time, even in the heat.
They're expanding the ones on the west side as well.
And those, by the way, those courts in Henderson are world renowned. When I tell people that I come from Las Vegas, they, oh, the pickleball courts, they're amazing, and
that's why the West Side's getting in on the action.
And you know who's big on it now? You know who's really getting in on it? Andrew Agassi, and he's probably going to take the Darling Center and do something over there.
Yeah,
Andre.
They mentioned they mentioned that on the news the other day too, out here about him doing that.
Yeah, he just played with McEnroe in a couple of as an event where the purse was, I think, $1 million, and it aired, and then the next thing you know, it was streaming. It was streaming on YouTube, not even YouTube TV or anything like that. So my point is that it's not and it's hard to watch on TV. It really is a hard thing to watch because it's just pretty boring to watch. So anyway, that's my opinion. But moving on, Madison Square Garden, where the Knicks play, and they just announced that the Sphere in Las Vegas is going to. I mean, it's amazing what they got. They basically have U2 is going to be the residency act now. When it opens,
Sphere.
They're selling tickets right now. Like the first immersive show is happening there right now, and they're actually selling. You can get in on the first tickets to the MS Sphere immersive experience.
Yeah, it's called. Let me see if I get. Okay, so the Sphere will include a 16K by 16K LED screen that wraps above and around the seats inside the venue. Wow, 16K. That's better than life. I mean, really, that wraps around the seats in the venue, intended to create an immersive experience in the trust sense of the word. The venue's properties, they have a proprietary sound system called the Sphere Immersive Sound. It utilizes a variety of audio technology, including beamforming. So that would be a lot like, a line array, I guess. So the first show. Say again, Greg?
Steerable line array. They have. Yeah, we talked through this on Robert's thing. It's pretty impressive technology what they're using. So
wouldn't it be like your Constellation system?
No. Constellation system is like stereo compared to this.
This is beamforming.
They call this 3D audio beamforming technology.
So basically, it means they could steer the sound anywhere they want it. It's like the CAL system, then more like the Meyer CAL system.
The CAL system.
Yeah, but it's 3D.
But in
3D. It's 3D. That's got to be great. That's got to be completely immersive. It's amazing. Anyway, the first show that they're doing is called Postcards from Earth, and it's basically, I think it's underway right now. It's scheduled for release in October. So I guess that's just before the Formula One race hits Las Vegas as well. Anyway, Polestar is reporting that. We'll throw the link in the chat. So I thought that was pretty cool. And Stagecoach and Coachella going on right now. Stagecoach is set for April 28th through 30th. And that's going to be streamed. If you can't make it, if you're a country fan, you can't make it, you could stream it on Amazon Music. So they're gonna stream the whole festival for 3 days on their channel, Prime Video channel, going both live daily at 3 p.m. Pacific from the T-Mobile stage. So if you guys are into country music, Stagecoach, April 28th through the 30th. But right now, I guess they're loading in Coachella, and they've got some pretty big acts going in there. I mean, that's a pretty major music festival.
Who's headlining this year?
I don't know. I know. I mean, they've had some major. I mean, one year didn't Beyonce headline?
I remember who I heard it was. What do they have? Like Bad Bunny and Blackpink.
Bad Bunny, man. That's crazy, man. That guy has made so much money and is so famous.
Well, the big thing here in Tampa, I mentioned before, is Taylor Swift's in town, and just in time for her, we haven't had rain in a month, and load-in day is today, and it's pouring in downtown Tampa right now. So it's good luck, Claire Goebel.
Well, what a lead into the story. So it's an outdoor show?
Yep, Raymond James Stadium. Same place where Kenny played.
So is it rain or shine?
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep. It's just, there's a huge low in the Gulf of Mexico, just pouring pouring rain over Florida right now. Miami got like 9 inches in the past 3 days. We didn't get any until today, load-in day.
So you're not working the show?
No, you wouldn't believe how many union people from around the United States came in. They're paying to work the show.
Wow.
They're not getting paid. They're paying the venue to be able to work the show. It's something I was shocked.
Whose show was this?
Taylor Swift.
I mean, I haven't seen the show. I'm sure she's not going to bring it here to Phuket, so I probably will never see the show. But I can tell you that it must be a really good show. I mean, the woman's got a lot of hits, and she's got an amazing amount of fans. I think they call them Swifties.
Yep. They showed a thing on TV today. They opened up merch today. There was about 5,000 people in line. It was ridiculous. You can get a T-shirt for $75.
Wow, that's cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get a Songkran T-shirt for only 1,000 baht.
What are you talking about? We went into the Lotus, which is equivalent to the Walmart, and they're selling Songkran shirts. So for those of you who don't know what Songkran is, let me spell it. It's Songkran, Songkran, and it's the Thai New Year's. It's 2 days. It happens today through the 16th. We're a day ahead of you. So today is the 13th here, so it's the 13th through the 16th. And basically it's a festival of water where you are guaranteed to get wet during Songkran no matter what. They throw water on you from everywhere, and it's a fun festival. Everybody has a good time here, except too many people start drinking early, and then, of course, it is a dangerous thing on the roads. So you have to be super careful because these guys normally don't drive sanely, and when they're drunk, they have now checkpoints set up, like 2 or 3 on the main road, just leading in and out of where I live, Phuket, Rawai, and there are checkpoints everywhere because they have to be really careful. Already this year, over 3,000 people have been killed in motorcycle accidents. Over 200,000 injuries, people going into the hospital here from driving on motorbikes. It is nuts. It is absolutely nuts. So be careful if you're in the sound of my voice and you're planning on coming to Thailand. Don't rent a motorbike if you don't know what you're doing. Take a Grab. It's a lot safer for you. Although the Grab drivers probably don't have licenses either, and they've been drinking. So just, bring a breathalyzer kit with you and say, hey, blow into this, will you please, before we get in the car.
Yeah.
So there you have it. And speaking of which, just another story in the news today is that moderate drinking, they have now proven. For years, they used to think that a moderate drinking was good for your health, and now they have proven it beyond the benefit of the doubt. Moderate drinking has no health benefits, and it's an analysis of decades of research. And if you're interested, the New York Times is reporting it, and we'll throw the link up into the chat as well. And so
they don't even think wine's good for you anymore.
Yeah,
and that's really
remember for years when we were younger, they always said a glass of wine a day red wine was good for you.
Yeah. And I believe in the George Santos method of drinking. He says it's good for me, so I believe everything the guy says. Yeah. Do you know they have a name for that guy? It's called a fabulist. A fabulist. You know what a fabulist is? I mean, basically, It's a person who composes or relates fables. It's a liar, basically. Wow, you don't look fat. That's oh, wow, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Wow, you look really good today. Oh, I'm a fabulist. All right, that's it. So anyway, speaking of, just a quick aside, talking about a little politics. George Santos, you guys know who he is, right? He made up everything. You know who Jordan Klepper is? Anybody know who Jordan Klepper is? He's on the Daily Show, and he goes out and interviews people from the Trump camp, and he just shows how insane they really are and the insanity of what they believe just by asking him simple questions. And he asked George Santos about, how's it going with your volleyball career? You know? I thought that was funny. Anyway, so basically, let's see. So George, listen to this. One of George Santos's top donor and is in the background check business. And he didn't do any background check on George Santos. And he says, wow, for $50 I could have known, said the donor who does the background checks. And we'll throw it. That was Bloomberg. We'll throw that in. We'll throw that in the chat. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. So this week it's a big week. I believe this week that the Dominion lawsuit against Fox takes place, and they got all the. It's so crazy. Are you guys following this? Anybody watch Fox?
A little bit. I follow it on my Flipboard news feed. It's Dominion's lawyers are pretty good, actually.
Yeah, they really got a lot of information. I mean, and the interesting thing about this trial is going to be so interesting because all of the hosts and Rupert Murdoch are going to be appearing in the trial, and I believe they're going to be broadcasting this. And they've already got them dead to rights from their memos and from their writings and the recordings already, that they've already, said that whatever they've done, they knew that wasn't true. And now they're going to have to admit it. And I'm just wondering how it's going to affect the Fox viewers when they hear their host having to admit under oath that they were lying to these people all along. They've just been lying. And I guess my main question comes down, if Fox loses, can the penalty be that Fox hosts that intentionally lied to their audience be forced to admit and state it unequivocally on their own shows that I intentionally lied to you? Will they, is that going to be something? Or are they going to force Fox to changing their slogan from something like fair and balanced news to something like, we lie to you all the time, so tune in. I don't know. Anybody have any opinion on that?
They're probably going to use your disclosure. This is an opinion show.
Yeah, this is an opinion show. We're going to lie to you now on everything.
Yeah. Well, you better copyright that phrase, Jan.
No, I don't want to copyright anything, man. Are you kidding? That's not my style anymore. But maybe you're right. Is there a lawyer in the house? If there's a lawyer listening, call me up. I'll copyright something, But I think I think that's probably not copyrightable. Not copyrightable. All right. The last thing, there's this researcher called David Johnson. I like the name Johansson better. It sounds more official. It sounds like he really knows what he's talking about. But David, he says there are different styles of people in personality. There are turtles, there are sharks, there are teddy bears, there are foxes, and there are owls. Those are the personalities of people. And he argued about the responses and strategies in conflict resolution tend to involve that we balance our own concerns and goals with the concerns of other people. So basically, a turtle, if you get into a conflict with someone, you withdraw, abandoning both their own goals and relationships. The results tend to be frozen, unresolved conflicts. Sharks have an aggressive, forceful take and protect their own goals at all costs. They tend to attack, intimidate, overwhelm during conflict. Teddy bears seek to keep the peace and smooth things over. They drop their own goals completely. They sacrifice for the sake of the relationship. Foxes adopt a compromising style. They are concerned with sacrifices being made on both sides and see concession as the solution, even when it results in a less than ideal outcome for both sides. And owls adopt a style that views conflict as a problem to be resolved. They are open to solving it through whichever solutions offer both parties a pathway to achieve goals and maintain the relationships. So, anybody want to say where they fit into this?
I take the fist.
I think I feel like somewhere between a turtle, a shark, and an owl. That's it. Depending on my mood of the day. So, I guess that's about the size of it. And I just thought I'd bring that up. Anybody have any comments on that?
Not on that, no.
There you go. We'll throw the link in the chat. And basically, that's about the size of it. I don't really have much more to talk about, except I did want to talk about what's going on in Tennessee and Louisiana, or Kentucky, actually, Louisville. I mean, did you guys see those videos of those police officers rushing the bank?
Mm-hmm.
You got to give those guys credit. I mean, that is bravery at its finest. That one young cop who's been only on the job like a couple of days or something.
Yeah.
2 weeks, and he rushes into the bank to save those people, and he gets shot in the head.
Yeah, and they couldn't even see. Those were reflective windows, so they couldn't even see in, but the guy can see out.
Yeah.
So they were running blind. They just wanted to save the people that kept getting shot.
And those poor people in Tennessee, another shooting in Tennessee, 6 people, 3 adults, 3 children. It's really horrible what's going on. And I think we're at a point right now where when the governor of Tennessee is crying on TV because he lost his best friend, I can't imagine that there's not going to be a change now. I just can't imagine that there's not going to be a change.
Yeah.
It's just seems like to me that I owned an AR-15, which I sold last year. And I always felt they're a lot of fun to take to a shooting range and shoot with them because they're amazingly accurate, and it's basically a fun gun to shoot, but not at people.
Well, the doctor at the hospital is
that not sad seeing that guy? I mean, it's like it broke my heart to watch that guy.
Yeah, I mean today he in his conference, he explained what happens to a human body when you get hit. He just said bones turn into powder.
The force of these guns are just they're just so powerful when they go, and they go in small and they just boom, they explode outwards, and they just, you can't even see. It's just really sad. We had an assault ban in the United States on these, a ban on these for a long, long time. Back, I believe it was Nixon and the Clinton administration. Right. And believe it or not, there wasn't many shootings with AR-15s when they did that. It's funny how that works when they're not legal to be used in public, and then all of a sudden they're banned and they're not being used in public, and then they take the ban off, and boom, all of a sudden they're causing great damage. When you look at other countries and you go to other countries and they ban guns, it turns out that there's no gun violence. It's funny. Yep. I mean, people get knifed. But there's
still crazy people there.
I mean, people do get knifed. I mean, there was just an article. This guy in Krabi, which is a little tiny vacation village town. Basically, the owner of the hotel fired this guy's wife, and he came to the hotel and stabbed the guy to death, but I mean, that's pretty brutal when you think about it. Knives attacks, swords attacks, that kind of stuff, but it's not mass murder, whereas these guns do commit mass murder. And I really feel bad for people whose lives are completely disrupted by this. I mean, look at what happened in Las Vegas. How many people got killed during that country festival from the Mandalay Bay? It's horrible, and it shouldn't be allowed. And the interesting thing is there's two things that I want to say about it. Number one is that I am positive that the founders of our country if they knew that there were going to be something bigger than a musket, they would have changed those words in the Constitution. That's number one. And number two, I heard this comedian talk about about these militias. They took 100 people militia with the AR-15s against 2 U.S. soldiers, and they interviewed the guys with the militia, and they saying, "Well, we got the AR-15, we got the AK-47, we're willing the Kevlar vest, blah blah blah. You know, we're gonna annihilate these 2, Green Berets." And then they interviewed the 2 Green Berets, and he said, "Well, what weapons are you using?" And because the whole idea is that they would be able to have weapons to protect them from the government, right? That was the whole idea of in the beginning of the Constitution, is that to have a well-maintained militia, so in case the government would turn on you, you would be able to protect yourself. And so they got these 2 Green Berets, and they say, "Well, what weapons are you using?" He says, "Well, we're using these drones." He says, you see this red button here? He says, "Yeah, if I push these red button, all those 100 guys will be wiped out like that." So, it doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well,
smarter kills. That's what it is.
Yeah. Anyway, anybody have anything else they want to say before we say goodbye to the listening audience?
yeah, actually, in the productivity section of Apple's on the Apple Store, Genie is a chatbot using what is it? Graph the AI, OpenAI's interface.
Say that one more time, please. Say that one more time.
Chat GPT, OpenAI. Another company has made an app using version 4.0. It's a #1 download. It's called Genie Chatbot. And it has something like it has a 5.0 star rating, and they have 11 million downloads so far.
Wow, Genie, I've been using Perplexity. I believe that's the name of it. Let me just check my phone on which ones I'm using right now. Also, there's a shortcut you could use to have it interface immediately. I'm using Perplexity and an AI search, and you're saying it's named Genie?
Yep, GENIE chatbot GPT.
Okay, we'll have to check that out. Yeah, that'll be my homework assignment for next week.
It's a subscription service. All of these new ones are coming out as subscription services. And what's interesting about this one, but before you can use a picture, and it will ingest a picture, and then it will be able to recognize your photograph. So that's image recognition in an AI.
And you're giving it to them for free. How silly is that?
Yeah.
I don't even want an Amazon in my house, let alone why would I give them my picture?
Yeah. But people
Genie AI App Store. Let's see. I'm googling it right now to see what we can find here.
I have the link in the chat.
Yeah, Genie AI bot. Here it is. Let me see what it says. It's got 20,000.5K ratings. Let me get to it. Let me see let's see. Because what I don't think of myself as cheap, but I just find that there's certain subscriptions that I don't want to pay for. And it seems like there's a lot of people now getting tired of paying for subscriptions because everything is moving to a subscription model, including Soundbroker. I mean, I've moved over that way as well. Genie Chatbot.
Yep, it's like $70 a year, but it's free for the first 3 days, I think. That's what they say.
Well, there you go. For the first 3 days, that's a good thing. Oh, by the way,
that's all they need to get your information.
Oh, by the way, Greg, the ratings on the Genie is horrible. It's 2.3.
Oh, really?
And of all the ones that have been downloaded, and basically it's in the chart. Unless this is a different one, GENIE, powered by Chat GPT, right?
AI. Yeah.
Yeah, according to this, I'm looking at the App Store right now. It's only got a 2.3 rating, which is horrible. It's number 187 in the production charts, so I think that it's probably not been downloaded as much, even though it's been. Genie is a revolutionary AI chatbot powered by blah, 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 blah. It's only got 5 rate. Something's wrong here. This can't be right.
Yeah.
Anyway, do your own research.
Yep, I picked it up on one of my feeds. I'll email you the feed, and that's something that we could talk about next week.
Yeah. So anyway, the last thing I do want to talk about is I said with the topic of the show would be how to make money, and there is an article in the New York Times. It's how they actually print money. And I tell you, it is the coolest thing to watch how they make U.S. currency. And we'll throw that link in the chat. But it's an amazing process. It is really intense. It's really unique, very secure. And how they actually, what they go through to make money and how long it takes to make money. You'd be surprised. It's not like a 1, 2, 3 process. They don't just, boom. They take money and they just print it, and it's printed immediately. It is a long, arduous process to print money. And the guys that have been doing it for years. So we'll throw that link in the chat. And that's, so if you stayed listening to it all this time, you've listened to the show throughout the end, now you've got the link on how to make money.
Unless you're like me and you've reached your limit as a subscriber. So I have to pay for it.
Oh, you know what? If you want, I'll tell you what, if you want, I have the ability to send you a guest article. I can send you a guest article. So,
send me a
but
guest
I can't
article.
send it to everybody. So just DM me and I'll send you the link. I'll send you the guest article. Yeah, it's very cool. Really super cool. Anyway, anybody have anything else they want to say before we say goodbye to the public? Okay. Well, if you like the show, give it a thumbs up. We're on YouTube, Facebook, you can't think of a place where we're not on. We're everywhere. And, people are liking the show. People are absolutely liking the show. We're getting more and more views every week. Well, actually, that's not true. Some weeks we get more than others. So, but still, nonetheless, what the hell? Hey, for the price you're paying for this show, it's well worth it. You get your money's worth. But
He's
then
just practicing on using the noun fabulous.
Yeah. Why is it that anything times 0 is 0? So if you're paying 0 and you're getting 100 times worth of your money, you're getting still 0. I don't get it. It's better to have 1 than anytime 1 is something. But what can I say? All right, we're saying goodbye to everybody out there. Remember, you make it happen. Everything you heard today was an opinion, so do your own research. Thanks for watching. This was our 151st show. Today is somewhere either the 12th or 13th of April, wherever you're watching. Happy Songkran for anybody in Thailand. Happy Easter. Happy April, whatever it is. Passover, Kwanzaa Hut, whatever your holiday you celebrate. Anybody celebrating a holiday? Anybody have a birthday coming up? Anything like that?
I have a birthday coming up.
When?
On the 23rd.
23rd. Well, it's a national holiday, the 23rd, Greg Baker Day. There it is. I just made it a holiday. There you go.
We should all wish Kurt Hare happy dry trails to Tahiti.
Happy trails to you. I can't believe the guy's only going for 6 days. I mean, it's going to take him a full day to get there and a full day to get back. That leaves 5 days in Tahiti.
Why?
If he has any jet lag, now he's got new pants. I don't know. Wish him the best of luck. Kurt, we love you. Wish you the best of luck. And we will see you again next week. And you'll report about your trip to everybody. We'll hear all about the wet pants. All right? That's what I want to hear about.
I'll bet he's going to be teaching some of the chefs some of his cuisine.
Tahiti's a wonderful country. I mean, really, it's
but
beautiful.
how is he getting there? How is he getting there? Is he flying or taking a boat?
Yeah, he's flying.
Oh, well, he's not gonna
if
do it
you
on
took
the
a boat, it wouldn't. It would take more. It would take more than a week to get there by boat. You know,
There
it's
you go,
really
that's true.
remote. The island is super remote. By the way, I went to the Club Med there on Moorea, and one they list the sports that they offer. You know, parasailing, scuba diving, tennis. One of the sports is drinking. Actually, drinking is a sport there. So and you take it up early in the morning because there's really nothing to do. Once it gets dark, there's not a lot to do there. But it is beautiful, and if you've never been to Tahiti, I highly recommend it. But that's my opinion. And remember to do your own research. So make it happen, and we'll see you again for the 152nd episode next week. Until then, stay happy, be safe, and make it happen.
Same to you.
And we are off the air.